Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Horror Corner here with the live horror stream 7 Blood Rising. So, since we don't have the Google chats anymore, I thought I'd mess around with this stream that goes directly from my webcam. And I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea if I'm actually live now or what. Let me check on my phone here. I mean, it says I am. Do you guys out there? Oh, says I am live. So live horror stream 7, Blood Rising. Okay, I do see myself on there. So this is just a test, guys. Right now, just test the numbers. Yeah, because we don't have Google Chats anymore available. So it does appear to be working, but let's see if there's anyone in the chat. I realize it's late. It's 12:30 at night. I don't expect anybody to be around, really. It does appear to be working. Actually, it looks pretty good. Oh, Horrific Nightmares Jam. I guess it is working. So, oh wow, I actually see you in the chat too. What's up, dude? Welcome, Horrific Nightmares JM, to live horror stream 7, Blood Rising. So it's been a little while since I've done a stream. I guess we're live. I guess it's working okay. Yeah, this is something different. I haven't used this live stream straight from my webcam before from YouTube. I've been good, man. How you been? Oh, we got the Bonch in the house too. Welcome, welcome, man. Welcome all. Welcome to the live horror stream 7. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, from the Horror Corner. So I just had a few topics I want to talk about tonight. I'm just screwing around right now. I'll open it up for the chat, but I did have a couple topics I wanted to talk about. Um, and the first one being, I want to talk about something that's not really horror related, but it is something I'm kind of passionate about, and that is Spider-Man. And yeah, it's the fact that Marvel Studios, so they could do Avengers, so they can have him, mix it up with Captain America and Thor and all those guys at the Marvel Studios films, like Iron Man, and they had him in the Avengers movie. They had him first appear in Captain America: Civil War, and then he was in Avengers: Infinity War, and then Endgame, and now all he was in 2 solo films: Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home. I keep buffering, huh? Guess I'm having some issues, huh? Sorry, guys. This is the first time I'm trying this out, so kind of bear with me here. Yeah, I guess there's bound to be some technical difficulties. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, it's kind of interesting at the same time to see what Sony is going to do with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, because he is one of the 2 movies, I believe, a 2-picture deal. Who knows, maybe more in the future. I am actually excited in a way to see what they would do. Yeah, it's always cool to see him mix it up with Captain America, and that was awesome to see him fight Cap and see him mix it up with Iron Man. That was awesome. But we'll always have those movies to go back to. We'll say, yes, he did mix it up with Cap and Iron Man and all those people. No, not Tom Holland is directing it; he's starring in it. as Spider-Man, of course. So he's going to continue on as Spider-Man, and who knows, he might even continue literally right from Far From Home. And you might see another like third chapter of that series with him continuing along with the same character, Ned Leeds and all that stuff. And MJ played by Zendaya and all that stuff. Which I hope. And but I'm interested to see where the story goes. I'm interested to see that. Are they going to have him meet up with Venom? Played by Tom Hardy. That could be interesting. Um, my thoughts was one thing I would really like to see, and that is Carnage. Maximum Carnage, especially if they followed that particular story, which was a very popular story in the 90s, really work for a movie. I think that would be so cool and see like Carnage mix it up with the Dema Goblin and stuff like that and Shriek. Sorry guys, I know the connection is a little unstable here. Yeah, to see Carnage like doing his thing, and Carnage is just so psychotic, and to see that in a Spider-Man movie would be interesting to see him serial killer who has powers just like him. I think that would be sick, man. And yeah, and see mix it up with Shriek and the Dema Goblin and the Spider-Man doppelganger thing. That would be sick, man. I don't know if you guys have ever played Maximum Carnage for the Sega Genesis. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, and you could also have Black Cat show up, and that's another thing I really, really want to see Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, make her appearance on the big screen. We have not seen that yet. I got confused. I thought you meant Tom Holland who directed Child's Play. No, Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's like 70 years old. No, dude, have you seen Homecoming or any of those movies? You haven't seen Spider-Man in the Marvel? Well, if you haven't, please do. See, check out Homecoming and Far From Home. Yeah. At any rate, that's some of the stuff I would like to see. And of course, they could do the Sinister Six like they had been planning back when they were doing the Andrew Garfield Spider movies. And that kind of got canned because, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a piece of junk. Uh, which is why they had to reboot Spider-Man again, because the failure of Amazing Spider-Man 2. I mean, not that the first Amazing Spider-Man was all that great, but the second one really stunk. Phew, I can still smell it. I mean, man, was that movie bad? I mean, Jamie Foxx as Electro was like one of the worst renditions of a comic character I've ever seen. And oh god, the new Green Goblin, Harry Osborn. I mean, Dane DeHaan wasn't so bad. It was just the look of him. It didn't look quite right, and he really wasn't in it very much until the end, that final scene, which I thought they did that scene pretty well with the death of Gwen Stacy there. Yeah, that was the one thing they did do right in that movie, Jason. I agree with that. Is the way they killed off Gwen Stacy felt just like the comic, and that scene was done really well. And I will say that the chemistry between Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man was very good. But some of it was so bad, like the Rhino. Oh my god, it really handled his character bad. And a lot of the stuff he did as Peter Parker, and like he like stuttered and mumbled a little bit. It was like awkward, that awkward teenage, the bomb says I like The Punisher on Netflix, but it got canceled. Yeah, that's too bad. I did enjoy that too. I also enjoyed the Daredevil Netflix. I was wondering why people looked at me funny when I stood up and cheered. So you cheered for Gwen Stacy's death, Jason? What is wrong with you, man? That's the horror freaking you, isn't it? But I always remember that comic, when Gwen Stacy died. It was one of the most awesome moments in comics. I thought that was so intense, like how showing how evil the Green Goblin was, and how he would just do anything to mess with Peter Parker's life. Any rate, not to get too far off subject. Yeah, I am a Spider-Man nerd. I grew up reading Spider-Man since I was like 5 years old, and I read like every comic, Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, all that stuff. I wish they'd make a Green Goblin movie. Ooh, nice. I still would like to see Green Goblin done like in the classic style, like the comic book, like have him like basically wearing a costume, not like they did in the Sam Raimi version. They kind of look like a Power Ranger or something. I like to see him like full blown like the comic with the mask and the hat that he had and blowing in the wind and the classic Goblin outfit. I would like to see. Yeah, like he looked at Maximum Order. Yes, on the truck. Yes, that would be awesome. So what would you guys like to see now that the Sony deal is done? There's no more Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In a way, it is kind of sad. I mean, it was really cool to see him there with all those classic Marvel characters that you won't get to see that, of course, in the Sony world. They can only use Spider-Man specific characters, which it can be done well. I mean, we saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was really good. That shows the possibilities too, what you can do with Spider-Man and without having Marvel Studios help. No, the last I heard was it was a done deal. It's not happening. That it's done. No more Spider-Man. No more. That's story, Jason. But yeah. At any rate, yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that and geek out for a little because I am a big Spider-Man fan and kind of mixed on that. But I think it could be really interesting if it's done well. If they brought him back to Sony and did the either like the Spider Verse or mix it up with Miles or any of that. But then maybe they'd be repeating themselves. They already did that with the Spider Verse movie. But I would like to see a Sinister Six, and I would like to see Carnage finally brought into give Spider Man a real threat. And I consider Carnage to be the most dangerous villain probably in the Marvel universe. Just because he's so psychotic, all he wants to do is kill. He enjoys killing. He revels in it. He wants to see blood and gore, and we haven't really seen anything like that in a Spider-Man movie yet. Be interested to see like a dark Spider-Man movie. I mean, Jason says to me, it's a shame they all belong together. Yeah, if I was to have my way, the entire Marvel uh, movie world would have all the characters together. I mean, I know Disney was trying to do that because now they got the Fox, so at least they can bring in X-Men and stuff, which is but they just don't have a stranglehold on Spider-Man. Sony has that ball is in their court. They own the character, so they can do whatever they want with them. They don't have to bend to Disney's will. Like Fox did. They don't have to do what Disney tells them. Which in a way is kind of smart for Sony. They don't. You know, it's kind of proven a point in a way that you don't own Spider-Man, Disney, and that's true. So we don't have to do what you tell us. That was the beauty of Marvel. Everyone was in everyone's comics. Yeah, that was part of the great thing. That was one of the great things about Infinity War and Endgame. I felt is that we did get to see a lot of the Marvel's world in those two movies together. They couldn't do everything, but that's about as close as you're gonna get ever, I think. As to having a real Marvel universe crossover, something like you know, like Civil War was in the comic. That was a whole Marvel universe was involved in that. Whereas in the movie, it was only select few Avengers versus each other. Crossovers and villains jumping from comic to comic. Yeah, I love that stuff. That's why I loved Endgame and Civil War, and we got to see some of that, kind of what it was like. A movie about J. Jonah Jameson would be sick. Interesting you say that because they had the return of J. Jonah Jameson in, spoiler alert, Far From Home, and he was played by, the same actor from Sam Raimi movies, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Ben Grimm is in the house. What's up? Oh, we got sci-fi horror guy. What's going on, man? What's up, Rob? Watching your video earlier, the one you walking through the cemetery and stuff. That was awesome. Love cemeteries, really cool. Yeah, the Morbius thing, that is interesting, isn't it? That's why I love Marvel so much. I felt like you were part of something. Yeah, I know. I always was more of a Marvel guy, Jason, because oh man, this thing is a little bit faulty, isn't it? Yeah, because what was I gonna say? Oh, I got hit with a copyright claim with the music I use, huh? Oh, yeah, I watch that stuff. That's why I never use any music in my videos, really. Um, because I know how they are with music. The bomb says you excited for the new Joker movie. I did watch the preview today, actually, and I gotta say it does look pretty interesting. Maybe the DCEU can turn things around with doing different kind of stuff like this, like a one-shot movie like that. It does look like Joaquin Phoenix does a great job as Joker. Say now he's going to be on the level of like a Heath Ledger, but he is a fantastic actor. I mean, just watch Laddie here, where he played Commodus. Oh my God, he was so good in that. So he can be a bad guy. If you don't think he can be a bad guy, just they're gonna make it like a Scorsese style movie. I think says Bomb. Yeah, maybe. It definitely looked good. I have to say it looked very interesting, like a drama almost. Not like a superhero movie even or a movie. It seemed not even like a comic book movie, which is interesting. Phoenix was amazing in The Master. The Master, yeah, that was with Philip Seymour Hoffman, right? I saw that movie. That was very good. Again, that was a real different one. It was kind of an indie style movie, and that's what kind of this feels like. The Joker movie almost feels like an independent movie in a way, like an art house movie, which is interesting for a big, you know, blockbuster DC movie. Jen's reviews from the grave. What's up? Oh, this is fun. I've got all you guys in here now. Welcome, Jen's reviews from the grave in the house. Hey, notice, Jen, that you're on Twitter now. That's cool. Welcome, Movie Freak 688 to the chat. We got Sci-Fi Horror Guy, Buddy Rob there. We got Jen's reviews from the grave, and we got Horrific Nightmares JM. Welcome everyone in the chat. If you guys are just tuning in, I was talking about the deal with Spider-Man and Sony and Marvel not being able to come to terms on the deal. You know, now Sony gets Spider-Man back in their grip. You know, no more Marvel Cinematic Universe for Spider-Man, which is kind of sad. But I am kind of interested to see where Sony goes with the character now that they have so, you know, control back in their hands, you know. Because, you know, mainly because of the Spider-Verse movie, because I thought that was really good. Venom, I don't know, but it could be interesting when they got an actor the caliber of Tom Hardy. I actually think he did a pretty good job in that movie. It wasn't a great movie per se, but I thought Tom Hardy did a good job, and they got the dynamic right between Venom and Eddie, you know, Eddie Brock, you know, and the relationship, you know. Sci-fi horror guy says they're gonna see the new Rambo, Last Blood. I definitely do want to see it. Yes, I am curious to see what they're going to do with the Rambo movie. I like how in the trailer it seems like more grounded, like the original First Blood movie, which is my favorite in the series and my favorite action movie of all time. Believe it or not, is the original First Blood. Oh, we got Andy's Entertainment Corner in the house. Greetings. Hey, don't give that away now, Andy. A dark fate has been threatening me all year. I am a little worried about that. Because he almost got me last time, but I managed to escape. Good night, Jason. Good night, Horrific Nightmares, and thank you for joining me on the live Horrorstream 7 Blood Rising. If you guys haven't noticed, each live stream I do solo, I call it a different name to make it sound like a horror sequel. The last one I think was The Gathering. I give them these like silly titles that sound like horror sequels. I think one of them may called the sequel. All right, so guys, on to the next topic. While I have Jen in the house, who is a big Halloween fan, I want to talk a little bit about the casting of Halloween Kills. Now, I guess you guys have heard about the casting of Charles Cyphers returning to the role of Sheriff Lee Brackett, which I thought was so cool. And I don't know if you guys had watched some of my past videos on this subject. Well, that Charles Cyphers should come back. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm very glad that he's returning. He got one of the original characters from the original 1970 classic returning, one of the most important characters in that film, I think. Outside of Laurie and Dr. Loomis, of course. Say probably the next most important would be Sheriff Brackett. So that's so cool they're bringing them back. And you got Nick Castle returning. I don't know in what capacity he's, because I heard that both him and James Jude Courtney are returning as Michael. So I don't know. Are they going to split it 50-50 this time? Or, I don't know. Um, but obviously, Charles Cyphers is a lot older now, but I have seen him recently in interviews and things. And obviously hasn't done much acting since back then. I think the last thing I saw him in was The Fog in 1980. I don't remember seeing him in much else outside of that, other than Halloween 2. Yes, Jen says, I am so excited that Anthony Michael Hall is going to be Tommy Doyle. Yeah, I am very interested in that. The one thing I always think is, why can't they have the original actor who played Tommy Doyle come back? I mean, you haven't Charles Cyphers come back. Why can't you have the original guy who played Tommy Doyle? Yeah, maybe he hasn't done a lot of acting either, but I mean, I saw him recently at conventions and stuff. He's not that old looking. So what? It doesn't matter. I think it's something to be said for having the original actors returning. If this is like a reunion kind of movie, like the last one was, why can't you have the original guy playing? I get that they want